Opening a cafe looks like the dream. A cozy place, your name on the door, coffee, music, people who stay all afternoon. I believe that too, so I opened one. I put in about $277,000. Deposit, key money, interior, inventory, almost everything I had saved. 4 years later, I walked away with about $93,000. I didn't lose it overnight. I lost it slowly, 1 month at a time, and here's the part that still bothers me. I knew better. I had already run another cafe and that one worked. So I told myself I had it figured out. I was wrong. Let me show you exactly how, with the real numbers. First, where the money actually went. The space used to be a cosmetics shop. I gutted it and rebuilt it from scratch. The ceiling was high, so I built a second floor inside to add seats. It sounds clever. It wasn't. The space was tall, but narrow, and the entrance was tight, so from the street, you could barely tell the cafe was there. Low visibility quietly kills a cafe. I was paying for a building that hid itself. Here's where the $277,000 went. Interior, $108,000. Inventory, $79,000. Deposit, $58,000. Key money, $33,000. Look at that. I spent the most on the thing that mattered least, making a hidden space look pretty on the inside. That was the first sign. I told myself the design would make up for it. It didn't. And there's something bigger I ignored. This was a franchise. I paid the brand fee. I followed their recipes. I sold what every other branch sold. Here's the uncomfortable truth about franchises. The head office almost always wins. The branch owner? That's a coin flip at best. Think about it. If a franchise made easy money for the owner, the head office would just open the stores themselves and keep all of it. They don't. They sell you the right to take the risk, while they collect a fee no matter what. I knew that. I signed anyway. Now the mistakes. There were 3 big ones, and I saw all of them coming. Mistake 1, the location. It was a brand new district, a subway station right out front. To me, that screamed foot traffic. Thousands of people walking past every single day. But foot traffic is not customers. People flowed past on their way to somewhere else. They didn't stop. They didn't spend. And here's something I didn't think about. In a new district, the buildings are expensive, so rents are high and people there spend carefully, less than I was used to in Seoul. High visibility, low wallets. Year 1 the numbers weren't terrible, but that wasn't real. That was just the opening buzz, the curiosity everyone has about a new place. I told myself it would grow from there. By the end of year 2, I finally admitted the truth. This location was never going to work, not the way I needed it to. There's a saying in Korea about new districts. They call them the graveyard of storefronts. The idea is brutal but true. In a brand new commercial area, at least 3 owners usually have to fail before the street finally figures out what it wants. 3 owners burned before the spot becomes stable. I was one of those 3. I paid the tuition so the next owner wouldn't have to. Mistake 2, nobody was really running it. On paper, I managed the money, my sister managed the floor, 2 managers. But a business needs 1 captain. When 2 people steer, you get 2 directions. We had different styles. We clashed a lot. When you run something alone and a problem hits, at least you can fix it alone. With 2 heads pulling apart, the problems just sat there. And the deeper issue, I wasn't even there. I was running my own cafe in Seoul, on my feet every single day. In Chun, I managed from a distance. My sister could only go in once or twice a week. The rest of the time, The place ran on part-timers alone. When something broke, she'd rush over to put out the fire. That's not management. That's just firefighting. And then a large cafe opened nearby. Whatever little edge my place had quietly vanished. Now it was the same coffee as everywhere else, in a spot nobody could see. And here's the part that fooled me the longest. My spreadsheet showed a small profit almost every month. So I kept going. The number on the screen said, "Hang on, it's working." But that number was a lie. Let me show you where every $100 of sales actually went. Ingredients, 38. Delivery fees, 18. Rent, 12. Staff, 9. Utilities and the rest, 6. And what looked like profit, 17. 17%. Not bad, right? That's what I told myself. And honestly, even that 38 for ingredients was the floor. Some months it ran higher, costs go up, prices on your menu don't not fast enough. This is the trap nobody shows you. A business lives and dies by numbers. And numbers lie better than people do. You get fooled by a number, you celebrate over a number, you cry over a number. That one line on the screen, profit, had me believing for years, except that 17 didn't count the VAT. It didn't count the corporate tax. It didn't count the supplies I kept buying on my own personal card, and it didn't count a salary for me or the back pay I owed my sister, who was showing up for a place that was sinking. Strip all of that out and what was actually left? Close to nothing. For a long time, I kept the cafe alive with money from my other businesses, money coming in from one place, quietly bleeding out of another. That is not a business. That's a slow leak you're paying every month to keep open. By year 3, I knew I had to sell, but selling taught me its own lesson. You almost never get back what you put in. I hired a consultant to find a buyer. About $2,200 paid up front. Every 2 or 3 weeks they'd call, "We've got someone interested." I never met a single one, not one real buyer, in all that time. When I finally asked for my money back, the calls stopped. Now they don't even answer my texts. So I'm taking them to court. In the end, I found the buyer myself. Key money, $35,000. Deposit back, $58,000. Total about $93,000. So here's the whole picture. In, $277,000. Out, $93,000. Gone, $184,000. And remember, that's before the taxes and the wages I never even counted. The day I signed the papers, I felt everything at once. Sadness, relief, and a sharp, honest awareness of my own limits. And I felt sorry. Sorry to my sister, who stood in that place for me while it went under. So what did 4 years and a 6-figure loss really teach me? It's not that I didn't know the rules. I knew every one of them. The truth is harder than that. I didn't miss the warning signs. I pretended not to see them. And looking back, that's the stupid part. Even when everything is perfect, the results still might not be. And I didn't prepare perfectly. I didn't demand excellence in the process. Yet somehow I still expected the numbers to climb. That's not bad luck. That's just wrong. So before you open anything, be honest about one question. Are you doing this to build real money or to live a dream? Because they are not the same business. And pretending they're the same is exactly the mistake I made. I'm not telling you this from the top of the mountain. I'm telling you from the climb. I'm still building my own ladder, one rung at a time. Steel isn't born. It's forged. This was one of the hammer strikes. If that's you too, still getting hit, still climbing, stick around. Next time, 3 businesses, 3 endings, and the one thing that decided which ones survived.